Hi everyone, it's your favourite atomic blonde here with my Doctor Who The Giggle review. So apologies it's late. As I've said, I had an absolutely stonking cold last week and you just really wouldn't want to have seen me on a stream. So to that, I've watched this once. When it came out the other week, I haven't gone back and rewatched it because quite frankly, I don't really want to. So it's going to be a very short review depending on what I can and can't remember. But then that's probably quite a good gauge as well. So given that I'd normally, watch Doctor Who episodes, be talking about them, gushing about them, loving them, rewatching them. Yeah, so the Giggle brought us to the end of the 60th anniversary. Now, if you arrive from Mars and you watch those three, you hadn't have a clue it was an anniversary set of shows. There was nothing really anniversary about them other than bringing back a character in the last one that was from the original run, the William Hartnell run. So to that effect, they really did not feel special. They did not feel anniversary. And I think pretty much an anticlimax and a bit of a letdown. Now, the Giggle, I will say, I thought was the best out the three, but the bar was pretty darn low. Yeah, so obviously we had the Doctor and Donna arrive back at the end of the Blue Yonder episode, where they met the lovely Wilf. And yeah, it's really sad that they weren't able to film any more footage with Bernard before he passed away, but at least we got a little bit of Wilf, and for Wilf to see the Doctor back and Donna and her memories. So from that, we find out that the sort of human race is going bonkers, and everybody thinks that they're right, their opinion's right, and to the point that it's causing fights, that people are breaking out and beating each other up because they know that they're right, which is obviously, and there's a bit of a monologue from the toy maker to the Doctor about social media and keyboard warriors and how everybody thinks they're right about everything, and which is probably a massive bit of irony given Russell T Davies' behavior over these specials on social media, when people have sort of raised genuine questions to him and criticisms, and he's just gone tough at them. So no self-awareness there whatsoever from Russell T Davies. So the episode itself, I thought built quite well. So obviously got the Doctor and Donna trying to figure out what's going on. The Doctor has a bit of an inkling when they go to this toy shop. And I think the other positive is obviously the performances were very good. Neil Patrick Harris was great, massively underutilized, with his acting ability. And the whole hamming it up of the villain, for someone who confessed that he'd never seen Doctor Who, he absolutely, for me, hit the nail on the head in terms of the right amount of hamminess you need to be a villain, in a Doctor Who episode. And the changing of the accents, and they're not quite spot on, and just as like, I think, added to the character that everything about him is false and not real, and everything's a game. And I thought the best scene out of it was when the Doctor and Donna get to the toy shop and they're sitting down in the theatre, and he's going through what's happened to the Doctor's companions and how they all pretty much have a sticky ending. And we've had the best meme created ever with, well, that's all right then. As they don't have the best fates in the world, and kind of holding that mirror up to the Doctor. But again, that's just a bit of a rehash, I think, of Journey's End, when Davros is going through, or says like, someone else had already sacrificed their day today, Harriet Jones, and then we kind of get the flashback of all the different characters over the first 4 seasons and how they'd sacrificed themselves for the Doctor. So a lot of the anniversary stuff was just rehashing. We find out that the toy maker had implanted like a psychic Giggle into the first TV broadcast that sort of filtered its way through, sending this message that say everybody thinks they're right. I mean, to be fair, I don't think you need to tell everybody they think they're right. You just needed to amplify that feeling, right? And the doctor discovers this. Then we get some anti-vax monologue around they've got these bans which stop the signal, which enables unit to keep functioning and try to stop what's going on. And you get the news lady from the RTD era, the American news lady, can't remember her name now, who's on about the how they're dangerous and don't use them and they're trying to take over our minds monologue. So yeah, just more sort of cringe. We have arguably one of the best scenes. Not everybody liked it, but I loved the whole when the toy maker turns up at unit singing the Spice Girls, turning all the bullets into rose petals, and really just hamming it up to the max. But again, another callback to the Doctor, the Master, in the sound of the drums, and he's dancing with the Doctor in the wheelchair, So it was kind of like really, in Russell T Davies' mind, the anniversary was a collection of his greatest hits and kind of ignored 60 years worth of Doctor Who. And also with the signal being buried in the TVs or in the signal, is just another rehash of the Archangel Network again from Sound of the Drums and Utopia final 3 episodes of season 3, which were also much better. And I think that's the problem with these. I mean, everything was kind of a rehash of what's come before, but what came before was head and shoulders better than what we got. It's like he wasn't even trying, or it's just he believes his own hype that he could just stick any schlock out there and people will like it. I really don't know. So if it wasn't for the performances in this episode, or even this anniversary, I think the ratings would be even worse than what they are. And I can see why, it lost 500,000 viewers. And as much as people sit there going, oh, well, people don't watch TV like that. But if the next show on then gets 7 million, or the show on another channel gets 11 million, well, at least 7 or 11 million people are watching live TV, aren't they? They're just not watching Doctor Who. Not unsurprisingly. So this all kind of plays out. We get obviously the toy maker is at unit now, and then he says he needs to play another game. Because they play a card game when they're at the toy shop and the Doctor loses. So now it's 1 each because the Doctor won back in the 1960s. So it's best of 3. So the toy maker's like, yeah, we need to play another game, but I'm not going to play it with this version of you, because each of the games in his logic is needs to play it with a different version of the Doctor. So he shoots the Doctor with a laser cannon, as you do. And then we get this most ridiculous bi-generation. So he starts to regenerate as per normal. He says, oh, it feels different. Donna comes over and, they brought back Mel. Ugh, it's like I can't stand Mel. I don't know why they brought Bonnie Langford back. Some people like her. She was his companion, for those that don't know, in the Sylvester McCoy era before they brought in the Fantastic Ace. But yeah, Bonnie Langford just used to run around screaming a lot and not really doing anything, and patronising the Doctor, basically. Maybe that's why they brought her back. So they sort of, he's like, tells them to have a hold of each. I mean, obviously we know when the Doctor regenerates, you've got to get as far away as possible, because he's going to shoot out fire and all this kind of stuff. But instead, Donna runs over and Mel runs over and grabs hold of his hands. So if he had regenerated in the normal way, they'd be dead. But anyway, he's like, oh, something's different. So they pull, and then basically it's like Shooty kind of comes out of the Doctor, and they're pulled apart. And again, so what this does is that, because obviously we had the first regeneration from Jodie to Tennant where he didn't end up in her clothes, even though they're supposed to be gender neutral clothes, so there's no reason why he couldn't have worn those. But anyway, so then Shooty ends up with some pants on, Tennant's shirt and tie, and Tennant's got his trousers and waistcoat and some shirt thing, like some old band wears, I don't know. And so then they basically decide that they're going to play a game, and the high stakes of let's play catch. So the three of them play catch. The toy maker drops the ball. He then gets banished out of our universe. It was all very quick and easy, no real, thought required. Shooty then gives David Tennant a hug and sort of says, effectively, you got PTSD. Take it easy, dude. I've got this. So for me, it still didn't really explain why that face came back. Maybe I missed it. Let me know in the comments. I don't know. So then we basically, then the prize for getting rid of the toy maker was Shooty could hit the TARDIS with a hammer and create another TARDIS. So Tennant's got one if he gets bored of being retired and wants to take off at some point. And then we had this whole, and it wasn't in the episode, apparently it was in the commentary after with RTD, that if the bi-generation wasn't bad enough, it then rippled through time. So every single Doctor now has a bi-generation, and there's an old version of them running around. So there's like 15 Doctors running around the universe, which I'm sure is very convenient that they can all bump into each other. I don't know. Don't really care. Yeah. So I thought Shooty's performance was good. I do like Shooty. He's got that twinkle, that energy, that mischievousness, and a bit of gravitas, I think, that I think he can absolutely pull off playing the Doctor. And from the trailer, which we'll get into in a minute, Millie, I've said all the way through, it looks like they've got great chemistry. But based on the writing we've seen so far, and what's been said, it's really put me off into watching it, and I was so excited for it. So I think overall, and then it ends with basically David Tennant's Doctor moving in with the Nobles. We have, and then making sure that he calls Donna's daughter his niece, and she goes, "Oh, I like that." Well, why wouldn't she? I mean, why is that even a point? Unfortunately, we had to have obviously Wilf off camera shooting moles for some reason. God knows why. I mean, he was in a wheelchair when we saw him. I don't think he'd be able to fire a shotgun without being, blasted into next week himself. But apparently, he's strong enough to be firing shotguns. But for obvious reasons, he wasn't on screen. Then Mel turns up because now she's friends with Donna after meeting her once. Who knows? And she's mad Auntie Mel. So she's not only just met Donna once, they're now such good chums that she's effectively auntie to Rose. I don't know. And all of this was just basically because David Tennant saying he's got PTSD and he needs time to chill out and heal. And Shooty's the version of him once he's healed, I believe. I know. And all this really didn't make much sense in the time of the Doctor, Matt Smith, his last episodes. And he was on Christmas for hundreds of years and was basically dying of old age when Clara found him and got the Time Lords to give him additional regenerations, which we now know he didn't need, courtesy of the Timeless Children. Anywho, so the whole point of him being on Christmas was that, say he was dying of old age, he reflected over his life, he healed, he lived a normal life, he looked after the villagers, he became like a carpenter, basically done all the things that they're saying to David Tennant to do, even though Matt Smith had already done it going into Capaldi. So I don't know why he needs to do that again. But again, with RTD's arrogance, he's like, well, I didn't write that, so we can just ignore it. Maybe. I don't know. But none of that made any sense whatsoever. Yes, the Doctor's been through a lot. Yes, the Doctor's been through a lot of trauma. That's what makes the Doctor the Doctor. You know, he ditches all his baggage. He's not going to be the Doctor anymore. But it's almost like, yeah, we've got to 60 years. We're not even going to honour it. We're just going to bin it all off so I can just write whatever message and nonsense I want going forward. That's what it feels like. And for someone that's professed to be such a massive Doctor Who fan, it's really sad. Yes, the show's got to move forward. Yes, the show's got to evolve. If it doesn't, you know, they don't last for 60 years. But there's evolving and then just basically binning off the show, writing a new show and just sticking the old brand on it, a la Star Trek. So yes, I wasn't particularly thrilled with the Giggle. I thought there were some great bits in there. So the whole puppetry thing, talking through the Doctor's past. And there was a whole thing hinting that he's been playing with the Doctor in his past for ages. So some people are saying, yes, that has retconned the timeless children. Some people are saying, no, it hasn't. I don't know. I think I'm not particularly enamoured with any of these, so I'm going to take from it what I want to take from it and say, yes, it did retcon the timeless children, just because I want it to. Oh, we had the whole thing with the toy maker has a gold tooth, and he's basically saying he fought the master and won, and that's the master trapped in this tooth. And again, after the toy maker disappeared, we had a rehash of the end of season 3 with the hand bending down and the red nail varnish picking up the tooth, as we saw picking up the ring to bring back the master. So it looks like we'll probably get the master at some point in season 14/1. Who knows what version we're going to get? Are we going to get a new casting? Are we going to get Sasha back? Don't know. So we'll see. But if they're going to ruin the master the way they've ruined the Doctor, do we care? Not really. So that was it, really. So not a massive amount of story, you know. Doctor turns up, everybody's going mad. Turns out it's a rehash of Archangel. Signal in the thing, finds the toy maker really easily. Toy maker then finds the Doctor. Then they have a game of catch. Toy master loses. He gets banished by generation. Tennant stays with the nobles. Shooty flies off. That's pretty much it. So yes, so that's it, folks. After all that excitement, and I was so excited, it all just turned out to be a damn squib of a 60th with nothing really spectacular. I won't be buying the Blu-rays. I have no desire to watch them again. So then we got the trailer to the Christmas special. So we've got the Doctor in Da Club dancing with a kilt on, as you do. I mean, the guy is Scottish, but you know, that's fine. Now, I guess well, I mean, you can read what you like into it, I guess, but it's setting out the story that this is a new, young, invigorated Doctor that doesn't have any trauma or PTSDs over the Time War, so he can go out clubbing. Fine. That's clearly how he meets Millie. And then we've got, and now it looks like we've basically just got a rip-off of Labyrinth for the Christmas special. I think maybe RTD has finally run out of new ideas, and he says he wants to take it in a more fantasy direction than sci-fi. There's always been an element of that anyway. You look at War Games and various other Doctor Who episodes that were a little bit more fantasy, certainly in the Capaldi era. We'll see. But I mean, if the quality of writing is as bad as the 60th, it doesn't matter if they're sci-fi or fantasy. They're really not going to be very good. Or we're just going to get more of the message. I don't know. But it's really killed my buzz. I was really looking forward to the. I mean, I will watch the Christmas special. Whether I probably won't bother watching it Christmas Day. I've got better things to do. But I will watch it at some point. Maybe Boxing Day or day after, and let you know what I think. But right now, it looks cringe as AF. I think. Looking at Shooty and Millie again, their partnership looks amazing, and that's the only thing I'm really excited for. The bit when they're on the ladder, I thought that looks quite fun, and just their interactions. But I think it's just going to be Capaldi all over again. You've got two potentially really good actors that work well together, have great chemistry, and the story writing is just going to let them down. And it almost feels like his season's over before it's even begun. Obviously, we've got no idea what the ratings are on Disney and who's watching it on Disney around the world. We know people aren't watching it in the UK as much as people like to try and spin it and go, oh yeah, but after like 3 weeks, 8 million people watched it. That's a little bit of exaggeration, but you know what I mean. So yeah, and the BBC just keep delaying bringing out the consolidated, so you know it's really not that good. And we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the Christmas special's got a bit more of a chance of getting higher ratings because it's a bit more of a captive audience. Everybody's at home. If you've got something on beforehand you want to watch and you stick the TV on and you don't turn it over, well, that's a rating, isn't it? So, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I have to say the whole Goblin thing and the Goblin song, it's just a rip-off of Labyrinth and looks cringe. But let's wait and see. I'm happy to be proved wrong, and I hope it's a really great romp because I used to love the Christmas specials. Again, they were a bit hit and miss. I mean, the Mysterio one was appalling. Voyage of the Damned is probably still one of the best ones. I think the highest rated Christmas special, which I will be watching over the coming week. And the run up to Christmas, it's time to dust off those Christmas specials, starting with the unofficial Christmas special, Charles Dickens in season 1. And The Runaway Bride, Voyage of the Damned, the Wardrobe one. I wasn't very keen when that one came out. The Matt Smith one. I rewatched it last year, and actually, it was kind of better than I remembered, or I appreciated it more. I don't know. But yeah, so I think certainly Capaldi's Christmas specials were very hit and miss. I did actually like the one with the face huggers. I mean, it was very dark for Christmas, sort of Doctor Who meets Alien at Christmas, but I've watched it a few times and I actually quite like that one. Maybe that says more about me than anything else. But yeah, I'll be working my way through the Christmas specials, bar Mysterio, because that was just terrible. Anyway, so that's it. Short and sweet. Not a lot to say other than I was thoroughly disappointed by all the 60th anniversaries. For me, there was no special and no anniversary in any of it. Some great performances. This whole bi-generation thing was, I think, to leave the door open that Tennant can come back, even though RTD's saying he's got no plans to bring him back. I bet he hasn't after these ratings. Yeah, you just sort of screwed up your legacy to get a get out jail card that isn't even going to work anymore. So I don't know. I think we definitely need a new showrunner, someone with new ideas, new direction, probably someone younger. I mean, I'm not generally ageist, but it just feels like someone who's 60 who's trying to stay relevant is like, this is what the kids are all talking about. Let's put this in, when you're really missing the mark, unfortunately. I think stick to writing your dramas. I recently watched Nolly. That was great. And, I love some of the works, but I think you're too old to write kids drama or young adult drama these days. Unless you can prove me wrong in season 14, but right now it ain't looking great. And it also suggests to me that he kind of does need a Stephen Moffat to balance him out, or give him a little bit of, you need to pull back there, or, I mean, the guy's life has dramatically changed since he wrote the first time round, and obviously he went through something awful with losing his husband. And I think that has changed him, and not necessarily for the better, unfortunately. He used to be obviously a much more optimistic man. Going through what he has, I can understand that he's probably a bit more cynical about the world. And it's a shame, because whatever he had before, he's lost with life and getting older. That optimism, that never say die attitude that the Doctor has, and just trying to constantly ground it in reality and ground it in the modern world, or the, today, you lose that magic that Doctor Who has, that no matter how bad things get, no matter how bleak it is, good will out kind of messaging was always in Doctor Who, which we seem to have lost, which is a shame. It is a shame. But yeah, so now potentially we've got this Hooniverse. We might get other doctors springing up. But they're not getting any younger, bless them. I think it's fine for anniversaries, and obviously on Big Finish, when you listen to them in your head canon, they're still the age they were when they were playing them, when you've got crossover episodes and all that kind of thing. I'm not sure it's going to work in in sort of TV, in episodes, having a 60, 70, 80-year-old doctor running around with Shooty. But who knows? Or they're just going to have standalone episodes. I hope the whole Paul McGann rumor is true. That man truly deserves a series, and he looks great. He can still pull off a series. I really enjoy his Big Finish episodes. Be interested to see what companion they give him, whether they give him Charlie or Sheridan Smith's character, who I don't like, but anyway, or completely somebody new. Who knows? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were so optimistic going into 2024, a new series, a Hooniverse, and it's all just kind of just out. So okay, well, I will be back with a review of the Christmas special at some point between Christmas and New Year when I get around to watching it, and I will let you know what I think. I'm kind of fingers crossed for Shooty and Millie. I think they deserve good episodes and to show their acting chops. I'm just not convinced they're going to get them, which is sad. So anyway, as always, let me know what you think. What did you think of the Giggle? I think I got a pretty good idea from what I've seen on X and other comments. But do let me know. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think I'm being overly harsh? I don't know. Maybe my expectations are just too high. But then so they should be. Lifelong fan. Just wanted a bit of Doctor Who. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe, please. And I will be back soon with more reviews, chat, nonsense. And there should be some shows before 2024. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. And I will see you soon.